I'm no stranger to awful racing games. From Garfield Kart to Flat Out 3 to Crazy Frog Racer, I've played a lot of irredeemable crap for the sake of this channel. And as a result, there's one game that seems to get a mention in the comments every now and then. This game is Big Rigs Over the Road Racing. Eventually, I bothered to look it up, and holy f***, it has an 8 on Metacritic.
Whoa!
I can't recall ever seeing a meta score this low. Even Flat Out 3, the lowest rated racing game on Steam, has a 23. Seriously? 8? So of course I had to buy it, funnily enough paying more than $1 per single Metacritic point. When you boot up the game, you're greeted by an unconvincing menu screen featuring a handful of options. The only 2 playable options are Custom Race and Random Race. So there's no campaign or progression mode. If you want to race, you're either creating a custom event or you're letting the game set it up at random. Haven't even seen the gameplay and I'm already feeling ripped off. I opted to start with a random race. The game says ready and I guess we're off. It never said go, but the opponent has departed, so I suppose I should too. Once I figure out the controls, there are 2 things that become very clear. First off, the game looks f***ing terrible. This is hideous to look at.
What is that? It's hideous!
The textures are low-resolution, muddy pools of browns and greys. The road is constantly popping in and out of the ground texture, and the animations, well, to put it simply, there are no animations. If you collide with objects in the game world, you just go straight through them. There's no collisions. This also means there are no physics in the game. None of the objects here, not even the opponent's truck, are physical objects in the world. All you can effectively do is use the arrow keys to move the rig along the surface of the game world, and that's quite literally it because nothing is real. This total lack of physics is also felt in the way the rig handles. It really doesn't feel like you're driving at all. There's no sense of momentum or traction or grip or anything. There's no sense of anything. The coordinates of the truck are permanently on the screen, hammering down the idea that you're not driving, you're just pressing arrow keys to change the coordinates of the truck's model in the project in whatever software engine the game's built in. Based on all this, you can probably already guess exactly how the game sounds. Yep, if you guessed anything other than dead silence with an irritating, crappy engine sound permanently when you're holding down accelerate, well then clearly you haven't played enough garbage driving games. So I do this for a couple of minutes, passing through checkpoints until completing the full lap, being rewarded with this joke of a victory screen. Your winner. That is remarkable. And we're back at the main menu. What to do next? Honestly, this option right at the bottom here was pretty enticing, but I decided to see if there was anything in the options. To my delight, there are graphic settings, so I changed all of them to maximum. I'm sure that's why the game looked like I just had the graphics settings on low. I entered another random race, and this time, the game spawned me in the exact same race again, and despite changing the graphics settings, it still looked identical to how it did in the first race. So I do the same race all over again, because the pause menu doesn't give you the option to go back to the main menu, it just gives you 2 options to either continue or quit. Your winner.
You're goddamn right.
Upon being returned to the main menu, based on what I'd just witnessed, I didn't believe the changes I'd made to the graphic settings had been applied. But to my disappointed surprise, they had been. So I guess the whole options page is just an arbitrary list of words that doesn't affect anything. Time for another random race. And it's the same one again. Are you actually kidding me? As it turns out, random race doesn't mean random race, it just means this same race again and again. This time, instead of racing ahead and winning, I decided to tag my opponent and follow them to see if that led to anything interesting. At this point, my expectations for the game were so low that I didn't even think it would make it to the end of the race, but it did. It made it to the finish line first, with me reaching the end shortly after. Your winner.
What?
Also, it doesn't even matter when I reach the finish line, so long as I end up there, I'm declared the winner. So this isn't even a racing game, there's no f***ing race. This truck's just here to give the illusion that there's some sort of race happening, but you haven't even bothered to make it so that I need to beat it to the end of the course. Over the road racing? What racing? I'd had enough of random race by this point and decided to enter the world of custom race. We're given 4 trucks to choose from, not that they control differently or anything, because remember, this game straight up does not have physics. Then we've got 5 race courses. Now let me talk you through this exhilarating range. First up, we've got Devil Passage. It looks the same as the one in random race, and it's about as interesting. As in, it's not interesting at all. It sucks. Then we've got Devil Passage 2, because even though there's only 5 tracks in the entire game, they couldn't be bothered coming up with 5 unique ones. Devil Passage 2 is the race that kept coming up when I chose random. You've already seen enough of it, you know how it is. Then there's Forgotten Road. If by forgotten they mean forgotten to make the bridge a physical object in the game world, well, it's an appropriate name. This one is slightly better than the others purely because it's during the daytime, making the colors a little more pleasant to look at. The fact that no one bothered to even test drive it to discover these bridges raises so many questions. It turns out the production company outsourced the work to some folks in Ukraine, and I guess those people just didn't finish the game, sent back their incomplete work, and then the production company didn't even bother to look at it. They just said F it and distributed the game. A lot of it would make more sense if it turns out it was some sort of practical joke, but I can't find any evidence that that's the case.
I don't know.
Next, we've got Night Ride, which, based on the preview image, you may be surprised to learn is Devil Passage 2 again. Yep, again. This game has somehow found a way to make me play this same f***ing course 5 times now. I'm starting to see why it's tagged as psychological horror on the Steam store, because it is truly starting to break down my ability to remain composed. Finally, we have Small Town Road. When I selected this one, the game crashed. So I rebooted it, selected it again, and hooray, it worked. Now I get to play another atrocious 3 minutes in a hideous, boring map in big rigs over-the-road racing.
Just my luck.
What about the loading screen featuring an image of some sort of sports car? What's the deal with that? There's no cars in this game. It's all these slow, clunky rigs. It's called big rigs. Who chose this loading screen? This entire thing is unbelievable. From the fact that it ever got released to the fact that I paid actual money for it. When I first saw that it had a grand total of 8 on Metacritic, I was in disbelief that a game could be that bad. Now that I've played it, I'm in disbelief that it somehow earned 8 whole points for its Metascore. Big Rigs Over-the-Road Racing has blown my mind. It's proven to me that no matter how bad things get, they really can get worse.
I'm done! You hear me?